spectacular simmers, and welcome to another speed build. So I'm pre-recording this in November, but when you guys watch this speed build, it should be New Year's Eve. It should be the 31st of December. Just with the time difference though, maybe it's not quite New Year's Eve for you guys yet, but if you are an Australian like me, it will be New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's, y'all. Yeah, so actually at this point in time, I will be on my trip abroad, hopefully having a really good New Year. For me, New Year's Eve is never good. I'm always boring. Like, I never do anything. I don't think I've ever been out. I've never been partying, anything like that. New Year's Eve is never ever fun for me. I think I had two memorable, notable New Year's Eves. So the very first one, and I maintain to this day, it is still the best New Year's Eve I've ever had. It was when my family and I went to Fiji, and the hotel that we were staying at had like a New Year's Eve party, and because where we were staying in Fiji, it was like at a resort, and there wasn't a whole lot to do outside of the resort, so there really wasn't anywhere to go. So basically everybody went down to this party, and it was just, oh my god, it was so much fun. And I was only like in grade 7, so I was not very old, but everyone was having a good time. It was like one of those like really good like vibes, and like everybody danced all night long, and at midnight, it went off at midnight. We had they had all these balloons like kind of suspended onto the ceiling in like this mesh thing. I don't know how to explain it, but at midnight, like, they cut all the balloons down, and there were balloons falling everywhere, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. And the only other memorable New Year's was New Year's Eve like last year. And this is like how boring I am, that this was a fun New Year's Eve. So my husband and my cousin and my sister and my husband's brother and his girlfriend, we all had New Year's at our place. This is when we lived in an apartment together, and we basically just put on my little speaker and put on music, and we just danced all night long. Like, legit, that's all we did. We just danced, and we we put on the Nutbush and the Macarena and like all that crazy music, and then we called my mum and we're like, come on over, we're having a party. And then she came over and my grandma came over, and we all just danced and carried on until midnight, and then we're like, well, we're tired, night. So they're like my two best New Year's Eves. New Year's Eve, as I said, for me is not something that, and it's not intentional. We never do anything. So I'm really hoping that this New Year's will be absolutely spectacularly amazing. Yeah, I do remember this one New Year's, like, legit, we were all just like laying on we're down the coast, so we could have done something kind of cool, but we're down the coast, and we just like lay on the lounge and watched the fireworks on the TV. And then Dad was like, backtrack a little bit. We went down to the coast. It was my mum, my dad, my grandma, myself, my husband, my auntie, my uncle, and then her 2 kids. And we all stayed like in quite a small house. So my mum and dad had to like sleep on mattresses in the lounge room. So we're all in the lounge room watching the fireworks. I think that my 2 cousins and my auntie and uncle had already gone to bed, and it was just like my grandma, myself, my husband, and my mum and dad and my sister watching the fireworks. And like the moment it hit midnight, Dad's like, all right, everyone out, I want to go to bed. And then we just went to bed. So it was like so incredibly boring. And like just all the time, like every New Year, I'm always like, it's gonna be really fun next year, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and then it just like, it never happens ever. Like, I'm always like, oh, this New Year sucked, all right, next one, and it never happens, ever. Do you guys ever do that? Like, you tell yourself every year, like, I'm gonna be more into Christmas this year, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that, and then when it comes around to doing it, it just does not happen. I can be a little bit guilty of that. I kind of did that a little bit with my wedding day. I told myself that I'm going to be like so happy and so excited that it's all going to be a blur, so don't let it be a blur. My wedding day was like a total blur. Like, it's a good thing, I guess, like, not in a bad way, but you're so excited and you're so happy that no matter how many times you tell yourself, like, don't let it be a blur, just appreciate the day, it's all just like a big dream come true kind of thing, and it's just crazy. So yes, I'm very guilty of telling myself to feel or be a certain way, and then it comes to crunch time and I act the total opposite. Yeah, so I actually built this house like the day after Pets came out, and it was weird. Like, this is like the first house that I built, and it's like a Tudor home, which I felt was kind of weird, because it was like, you know, surely I'd do some kind of like beachy nautical build. Nope. Tudor home. It does have some of the Pets furniture in it though. Like, it does have quite a lot of the pet furniture in it, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. I actually really, really like how this house turned out. Turned out really well, in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite homes. I say that all the time. I'm very indecisive, as you can tell, because I'm like, oh, this is my favorite home. This is my favorite home. This is my favorite home. And, you know, I don't know. I guess it's good that I enjoy my work. Sometimes I feel really up myself though when I'm like, oh my god, I love this home. It's like my favorite. And honestly, it's just like, shut up, Jess. Yeah, but anyway, I love the Pets furniture. And I really want to talk about the pet stuff because, as I said, I am recording this like, actually, it's the day that Pets came out, because Pets came out on the 10th, but I stayed up until midnight. And then I woke up today, obviously, and I'm playing it more. So all I want to do is talk about it, but like, this is a pre-recorded video, so I can't talk about Pets as though it's only just come out, because it hasn't only just come out. So I've had to talk about other stuff. So that's the other thing. When I do this pre-recording, I have to talk about like things that aren't like time thing. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I try not to talk about stuff like, oh, yesterday I did this, because I don't want to talk about things that have like a time frame kind of thing on them. And I'm actually now just realizing that literally like every single voiceover I've done pre-recorded, I've been like, I'm pre-recording. I don't want to tell time stories. So this is like, I'm sorry, like the 5th voiceover where I've said the same thing. So I'll stop saying it now, because surely by now you're gonna get the message. So yeah, anyway. I also think I might have to talk about the build a little bit more, because I'm kind of running out of stories a little bit, and it's hard because like, what do you guys want to hear? I can't like ask you, because I can't ask the you of the future, right? Yeah, right. So I'm just trying to like think of like stories and just like see what comes to mind. And actually, I do have a few like little random childhood stories. I just recorded a voiceover with my grandma. You would have already seen it, because as I said, you know, it was like, anyway. Take a shot every time I say anyway. So I did a voiceover with my grandma, and we were talking like a little bit about how I was a bit of a naughty child, and it actually just like brought back heaps of memories. So I thought I'm going to tell you like a few little stories about me when I was a child. So when I was younger, I had this really random thing where I like literally refused to wear shoes, like flat out refused. It would not matter like how many times my mum threatened, like, if you don't wear shoes, this will happen. If you don't wear shoes, your feet will get cold. If you don't wear shoes, the police officer will get mad at you. Like, it didn't matter how many things my mum told me, how many, you know, like bribes my mum, like, if you wear shoes, I will give you this. I refused to wear shoes. So my mum would like obviously put shoes on me, and then within like a few minutes I'd pull them off, and no matter how many times she put shoes back on me, I'd pull them off again. And when I was younger, my grandma babysat me Tuesdays and Fridays, because my mum worked part-time Tuesdays and Fridays, and Saturdays actually. So Dad looked after us on Saturdays, my grandma looked after us Tuesdays and Fridays, and then the rest of the days like Mum didn't work, and obviously Dad didn't work on the weekend. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So when my grandma would look after me, I would do the same thing. I'd like take my shoes off, and like I got in kind of not trouble, but like I remember going to this like kids club thing, and I'd taken my shoes off and refused to put them back on, and they wouldn't let me participate because I didn't have shoes. So I had to like sit out in the side because I didn't have my shoes on, and I refused to go and get them or put them back on. And I like never ever learnt my lesson. And I remember that I would sit in the back seat, and if anyone tried to put my shoes on, like I remember they would try and put my shoelaces on, try and put my shoes on, and they'd try and tie my shoelaces up really tight. So, like do the shoelace knots really tight so I couldn't like undo them. So if they ever did that, I would sit there and I would knot up the shoelaces so bad that they couldn't get them undone, and then they were forced to cut my shoelaces. I did that a few times. So I was like, fine then, because I couldn't undo my shoelaces, so I would just knot them and knot them and knot them and knot them and knot them. And then mum and dad would have to like cut off my shoelaces, and then it would be like, well, now that I'd cut off my shoelaces, that was a pair of shoes I couldn't wear. So then I got my own way. And then I remember after I kept on knotting up my shoelaces and they had to like, I'm such a little bugger. Like once they did that, my grandma found somewhere these like curly shoelaces, and they were like, you couldn't knot them. And she was like, oh, you know, the whole, aren't these shoelaces cool? But if you want these shoelaces, you have to wear your shoes. So I just put those curly shoelaces on, and I would, no joke, I'd put my shoes on, tie my shoelaces up, wear them for like 2 minutes, and then just like take them off again anyway. So nothing worked, and I can't remember exactly when I started wearing shoes again, but yeah, like for probably when I actually, you know what? I'd wear shoes to school, but then I would take them off at school and get in trouble and be told to put them back on. So then the moment I got home from school, my shoes would come off. So I can't remember when I started wearing shoes again, but now I'm the complete opposite, and it's really, really weird because I cannot be barefoot now unless I am in my own home. I hate being barefoot. I hate the feeling of like, the ground on my feet. So like even if I go to my mum and dad's house, if I go to friends' homes, I always bring a pair of socks because I refuse to walk around bare feet. It's so weird. Like I don't drive barefoot. None of it. I hate being barefoot. And yeah, I just think that's so weird that I started off refusing to wear shoes, and now I like refuse to be barefoot. And it's just like weird how that kind of stuff happens. I know another thing that I used to do when I was younger is I refused to wear jeans, and my mum is very, I don't know how to explain it, but she used to love dressing my sister and I up, and there's 5.5 years between my sister, and there was this brief few years where we both fit into kids' clothes, and during that brief period, my mum would dress us the same because she thought that it was so adorable. And I kind of think it's funny because like there's this whole few years of photos where my sister and I are dressed exactly the same, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that was that brief period of time where we could fit into the same clothes. And mum's always like, and didn't you look beautiful? So yeah, she's always had a thing about like us dressing nicely. And I remember I hated wearing jeans because I didn't like the feeling of the denim, and it used to like really irritate my legs and stuff. And I don't know if like, I really like jeans now. I find them really comfortable, but I think it's because they've brought out kind of like those jean legging hybrids and stuff. So it's kind of like, it's not, you know, back in the day, they'd be like really thick, scratchy denim, and I hated them. And I would throw so many tantrums with my mum about not wanting to wear jeans, and she'd be like, no, like, Jess, we're going to the club, you can't wear shorts, because I was a tomboy and all I wanted to wear was sports shorts, board shorts, and a t-shirt. Like sports shorts or board shorts or tracksuit pants and t-shirts. And I would just refuse to understand. Like, mum would be like, no, Jess, we're going out for dinner to a nice restaurant. I'm sorry, but you have to put some jeans on. Or she used to try and make me wear a dress, and I would refuse to wear dresses as well. Like, legit, no dresses, no jeans. It would be shorts, trackies, board shorts. I wore board shorts like casually. I'm weird. And actually, you know what? I didn't even wear tracksuit pants. No, it was just shorts, because I remember so many times mum being like, Jess, you need to put long pants on, and I was like, no I don't, mum, I'm fine in my shorts. And she's like, well, if you get cold, I'm not buying you pants. And then like I'd walk outside, and 10 minutes later I'd be like, Mum, my legs are cold. And she's like, well, I did tell you that maybe you need to wear some you need to wear some pants. So anyway, I'd have like so many tantrums with my mum about like what to wear. So as I said, like she'd be like, Jess, you have to wear a dress or you have to wear jeans because we're going to the club. And when I say the club, where we are, we have like, I don't know what it's like. It's like the Bowls Club or the Southern Cross Club as an example. And it's just, they're called clubs, but it's basically like, it's casual dining, and they usually have like poker machines there, and it's just like a good place for families to go out and eat. But they have this really weird like dress code, so you can't wear like shorts, you have to wear like proper clothes. And I would like just kind of scream and be like, I don't want to wear jeans. And then finally I'd agree that I would wear jeans or like a skirt or something, when mum was like, all right, look, if you don't put some jeans on, you're not coming out for dinner, and if you don't come out for dinner, you don't get ice cream. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll put my clothes on, bye. And like, I was such a painful child, I swear. So yeah, I never wore my shoes, I never wore jeans, and now I'm, as I said, the total opposite. Like, I'm happy to sit down in jeans, as long as like, the only part of jeans that annoy me is when like they're too tight around your stomach. That's uncomfortable. But now, you know, like I love dressing up. I love kind of, yeah, you know, like dressing up. I love wearing dresses, and like, I guess I like to be practical, but I still like, I really enjoy dressing up. And yeah, as I said in the past, who knows, that just would never, ever, ever have happened. So yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed my 2 random childhood stories. As I said, I don't know what else to talk about, so it's gonna be a lot of random stories, and hopefully you enjoy them. Hopefully you think I'm a good storyteller. I don't know if I'm a good storyteller. I talk a lot, but I don't know if that necessarily makes me good at telling stories. So anyway, guys, we're nearing the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys!